This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Dr. Rastafari, fire keep burning, can't cool. Yo, the more them try to kill women and the more we live longer. More them try to live women and the more we get stronger.
Talking Heads with Naughty is brought to you by Burger King, City of Hope, Fine Threads, The Free National Movement, John's Department Store, Kelly's Home Center, KFC, Muffler World, Naughty Johnny's, NRG Nutrition, Prince Masters, Royal Caribbean Cruises Limited, and Tropical Gyros.
And I know the youth them see them say one, but they fire call and jig one teach. And I say it go reach. And I know the youth them see it, so we can't free.
You've got it locked and loaded to the Wednesday, November 12th edition of Talking Heads. Your boy Naughty and your company right up until 6 p.m. along with Mary Jane. Making it happen for you on this Wednesday, on this open line edition of Talking Heads. We do have a special guest coming up in short order. We will get to him momentarily, and our special guest today. But first of all, good to see you, MJ.
Nice to see you, too.
What's going on?
I did see you 5 minutes ago, but...
Yeah, I know, but... you did see you 5 minutes. This the Spurs swag. I noticed you have a different swag every time the Spurs win.
Because they're performing so well. I'm excited.
But, you know, like Muff reminded me on Sunday, we really didn't talk about it. And we haven't talked about it. But I just want to let you know, you weren't this bubbly and effervescent after that 118, 116
How long
mega
ago
victory.
was that? Like, I don't even remember that game.
Hurley told me I had to do it.
Let's just move on.
Starboy told me I had to do it.
Hurley told you you had to do it.
Yesterday you got off the hook.
That's rich.
All right?
That's rich. Okay, Pearly. All right.
And there's I will tell you, and it's not me brown-nosing in our household. You know, I think Wembanyama is a definite star, face of the league for the future. I'm really impressed with what he does. I enjoy watching him play. But I can tell you, there is some strong Wemby hate. So you need to talk to Pearly.
I couldn't hear you. What did you say?
Strong Wemby hate.
Okay.
Talk to Pearly. Talk to Starboy.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Are we moving on now? Let's move on.
You can't even just say congratulations.
Okay.
In the spirit of Derek Fisher.
Whatever. All right.
But we got lots to talk about. I wanted to get that in, but, you know, I like to keep folks in the know and get them where they want to go. Don't forget, it's all about energy, all right? Nutrition ready to go. Be sure to check them out, all three locations. You have the Palmdale location, that's their newest location, the Cable Beach location, and, of course, the Old Fort Shopping Plaza location. And be sure to stop on by and check them out. I'll be honest with you. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner out there at the Old Fort Plaza location. Breakfast and lunch at the other two locations, Palmdale and Cable Beach, off the chain. All right? If you want to get healthy, start looking fit and in shape like me. MJ got me looking good, and MJ good to go in our own right. It's all about energy, man. Energy, energy, energy. Now, I just want to know, what happened? I heard some rumbling. Did my smoothie go missing by you, or did it go missing by Starboy?
I have no idea. Like, you're just all over the place today. Like, what's going on with you?
That smoothie went MIA.
I don't know what happened to your smoothie.
Okay, I'm just wanting to make sure, that's all. Now we have an excuse. We could go to Energy when we get off today, and we can replenish.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, for more information, www.energybahamas.com, or give them a call, 603-5261. All right, let's get up students. Obviously, if you want to chime in today, here's how.
Here's how you can become a talking head, brought to you by BTC.
Text lines powered by BTC, 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Phone lines open in New Providence, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Toll free in anyone in the Family Islands, 242-300-5720, 242-300-5720. Stream us live. Take us wherever you want to go. GuardianTalkRadio.com. That's GuardianTalkRadio.com. All right, a big part of the conversation today will be the headlines. So you definitely want to check them out today in today's Guardian. And here's how they look.
It's time for Headliners. Everything that's making headlines in the 242. Brought to you by the Fine Threads.
Here's what's blazing up the pages in the Nassau Guardian News and Views that matter since 1844. All brought to you, of course, by Fine Threads. Pintard promises housing boom. F&M leader says construction of homes would start within 6 months of his government. Pickstock, work won't stop in Golden Isles. Nearly $500 million of road paving exercises underway on Family Island, Sweeting says. This is according to Minister of Works, Clay Sweeting. And Stubbs points to challenges from permanent secretaries on NDP. All right, we got that and more to talk about. That's just the front page of the headlines. But like I said, we got that and more to talk about. And our very special guest coming up on the flip side of the break. As I told you, MJ and I'll jump into that with our guest, the F&M ratified candidate for Tall Pines, Mr. Serpent Rowe, coming up on the flip side of the break as the Wednesday, November 12th edition of Talking Heads continues right after this.
On the street, and the more them try to stop with it, the more we reach further. More them try to kill me, and the more me live longer. More them try to get stronger, can't fool. The fire get redder on the street, and the heights where it go reach. And I know the youth them see them say go on, but the fire call and jig one teach. And the heights where it go reach, and I know the youth them see it. So we can't free for them, so we must free to speak. And the heights where it go reach, and I know the youth them see it.
What happens when your faves team up? You get an original Asiago Bacon Club. Enjoy the iconic taste of KFC's 11 herbs and spices with a bite into KFC's original recipe chicken filet layered with Asiago cheese, crisp lettuce, tomato, bacon, our signature ranch, all on a golden brioche bun. KFC's original Asiago Bacon Club is made fresh, made right, available only at KFC. It's finger-licking good.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances. So come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
The technicians at Muffler World on Mackey Street and Robinson Road can do a lot of things to make your car perform better. Like make sure the wheels are properly aligned and that your brakes actually work and that your car is using the correct oil and in fact has oil. Those same techs can replace your entire exhaust system. Check out Muffler World for the top of the line Walker muffler. Now if you want your ride to sound rude, Muffler World can help you there too with a system by Flowmaster. Muffler World, Mackey Street and Robinson Road. Mufflers and a whole lot more.
This time around, this time around, this time around, me girl with Brian Brown. This time around, me girl with Brian Brown. This baby, he got so much to give. Educational program, young people and the kids. You ain't gotta be no whiz. Brian handling business, all kind of things in these senior citizens. Hey!
Paid for by the Free National Movement.
Craving something bold, fresh, and unforgettable? Tropical Gyros is your flavor-packed escape. A Carib-Greek fusion born right here in Nassau. From juicy grilled salmon, chicken, and pork gyros to loaded bowls, fresh salads, wings, and more. There's something for every craving. Find Tropical Gyros at any of their locations, JFK Plaza, Rosetta Street, Port Lucaya Freeport, or their franchise spots on Prince Charles Drive, Soldier Road West, Delaport, and Carmichael Road. Tropical Gyros, not just good food, it's an experience.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
It's time for The Buzz. What are you buzzing on? Brought to you by John Shoes.
Fire keep burning, can't cool. Yo, the more them try to kill women and the more we live longer. More them try to win women and the more we get stronger. More them try to fool women and the more we get wiser. Can't cool, the fire get redder on the street. And the more them try to stop women and the more we reach further. More them try to kill women and the more we live longer. More them try to weak women and the more we get stronger. Can't fool, the fire get redder on the street. And the heights where it go reach. And I know the youth them see them say go on, but the fire call and jig one teach. And the heights where it go reach. And I know the youth them see it, so we can't free for them, so we whip, or the heights where it go reach. And I know the youth them see it, them say go and burn the fire, call and jig and teach. Or the heights where it go reach. And I know the youth them see it, we can't free freedom. Yo, righteousness missing up, what them come reject. Be a corruption, yes, it say them a accept. Pan them earwaves and them internet. And what them tell live vibes, then a totally mess. Be a to them right, telling and them concept. Be a propaganda, them spreading at the press. Imagine what them promote a be a homo sex, bio-sex, oral sex. Then they sex spirit check. Man a dunch and vest, I want wear woman dress. Man a la pray up and them not stop grow breast. Man a dunch and sexual and not change them sex. That's why the youth are rush mental go make. That mean a baby, them a go on next. That's why the prophet of the born filthiness. What next? And the more them try to kill we, and the more we live longer. More them try to weak, and the more me get stronger. More them try to fool me, and the more me get wiser. Yeah.
We're back at you on the Wednesday, November 12th edition of Talking Heads. Yours truly, Naughty, along with Mary Jane and your company, right up until 6 p.m. We're into the buzz, all brought to you, of course, by John Shoes. Phone lines are open, text lines are open, and our special guest today, F&M ratified Mr. Sirfan Rolle. Welcome back, Sirfan. Good to see you.
Good to be here. Good afternoon, Naughty, MJ. I'm glad to be here. Good afternoon, Bahamas.
Good to have you back. Now, the last time you were here, you were in your role as vice chairman. Now you're here in your role as...
Well, I was here in my role as Secretary General.
Secretary General. You know, I get all them titles confused, but I know you had one.
Secretary General, and now I'm here as the ratified candidate
for Tall Pines.
For the great constituency of Tall Pines.
So, bring us up to snuff. What's going down since point A to point B? Let us know how things are on the ground in Tall Pines, and obviously we got some things to talk about. Obviously, the headlines. And what's going on in Tall Pines, as well as the by-election coming up. But more importantly, first and foremost, let's start off with Tall Pines. What's going on in Tall Pines?
Well, in Tall Pines, I'm now the ratified candidate for the Free National Movement. And even before I was ratified, we were on the ground, knocking on doors, meeting residents, meeting business owners, and leaders in Tall Pines. It is a wonderful jewel of a constituency. In New Providence and throughout the Bahamas, Tall Pines stands tall. And as I meet people, there's so many different issues that people have. There's just varied issues. And it's not really a complaint. People just are concerned about what's going on in the nation, what's going on in their communities. And so we knock on the doors, we're getting information, we're sharing our plans, we're building our vision for Tall Pines. And that's what we're doing. We do that every week. It is a large constituency geographically, almost 6,500 registered voters in Tall Pines.
It's a big constituency.
So we're doing our best, and I just appreciate this journey. It's been fun, learning about people, learning about community, learning about what people, their vision for the Bahamas.
Now, on your door-to-door, boots on the ground campaigning exercises, how many people are brought to you? I mean, because I think one of the biggest concerns of Bahamians is the cost of living. How many times does cost of living come up in any way, shape, or form?
It comes up in almost every conversation. Even people who believe that they can comfortably afford to be here, they realize that they have friends and neighbors, church members who are basically, it's almost like it's an economic attack. The cost of living is a serious concern, door to door. If you have it, if you have the funds, if you have the resources, believe me, there will be people who will be knocking on your door to ask you to help them. If you don't have it, the same thing, because there's somebody else who just has it a little bit worse off than you. People tell me about the challenges that they have in terms of actually continuing with education for their children, extracurricular activities, or if they're in private education, meeting the needs for those school fees. People tell me about just the things that they want to purchase from the food store that they used to be able to purchase, that they see now going to an astronomical high. And so these aren't even luxury items that people talk about. People just talk about how expensive the basics is in this country. People talk about fuel costs, electricity costs, water and sewage bills. And so things that people know that they need, these aren't things that are luxuries. People now have to decide, will I have this month or have to forego it? And so this is what we're facing, and the conversation is very real. People do not want a handout culture. I've seen in Tall Pines where people just want some attention to their needs. People want a focus by the government to alleviate the pressure that they're finding at every single cash register, at every single fuel pump. And so you see people who are happy and proud to be Bahamian, but when I look into their eyes when they speak, I can see that they're afraid that they might be priced out of their own country.
And so when you talk to persons and they say to you, the cost of living is just too much, I'm having, a really hard time right now, which we all are, right? What are some of the things that you say to them? What do you tell them you're prepared to do, your party is prepared to do in order to help ease the burden if you guys were to become the next government of the country?
Well, MJ, one of the things that I say to them, depending on what their field is, and especially we have quite a number of retirees in Tall Pines, I say to them that you need a government that understands what you're going through. You need somebody who understands what the average man or woman is going through day to day. And what we do is we try to have this conversation with the average person. We're not afraid to go to the Bahamian people and have this conversation. And so I tell them, talk, let me know, let politicians know, let policy advisors know what you're going through. That is the first step in actually trying to alleviate some of the pressure that people are going through in this country. And another thing that I tell them is that this government is not doing what I think that it should do in terms of paying close attention to people who are actually going to work, who want to get an honest day's pay after doing an honest day's work. And so when I see the taxi drivers just protested on Sunday, when I see what some of the public servants had to do in the recent engagements where they had to take to Parliament Square to get some attention, when I think about what the nurse who's been suspended, I believe from the Princess Margaret Hospital or through PHA.
Right.
When I think about them, I think about the fact that many of those persons do not feel heard by this government.
Okay.
And so I know that a free national movement government will listen, will hear them, will dialogue with them, will not shut the doors. We will sit down with them and hear out what they have to say.
So when you hear what they have to say, what do you say to them about what it is that government can do to ease the cost of living burden, to ease the high cost of energy in this country? What are some of the things you think an F&M government is prepared to do in order for our Bahamians to see some relief?
Well, one of the things we see on the front page of The Guardian today, Pintard promises a housing boom. A housing boom.
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
And so when we talk about the cost of living, housing is there. I mean, no matter what you do, either you rent it or you own it.
Right.
And so either way, you have to pay something, maintenance or pay rent or whatever it is.
Property taxes. Mm-hmm.
And so if you're dealing with that right off the bat, you need to have a roof over your head. Okay? And so one of the things that we want to do is ensure that we alleviate the pressure that this government is not alleviating over the people's heads in terms of housing, affordable housing. And when I think about the housing issue, I think about even the Minister Keith Bell said that the definition of our situation is we are in a ability crisis.
Right.
And when we think about the cost of living, the first thing that everybody needs to have is something, a secure, affordable roof over their heads.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, we got some calls. Let's get to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Richard, you know you guess how you doing?
What's happening?
Hey, Richie, hey, just a few points, right? Boy, things rough. Even the dog said rough. I been in the store, Cable Beach, the other day, right? I saw the white people picking up ramen noodles. So you know it's rough, right?
Picking up what? What?
Ramen noodles.
Ramen
Oh,
noodles.
ramen. Oh,
I believe-
just stop it.
I believe you using this.
Oh man.
So you know it's a little rough out there.
I believe you using this show as open mic.
I swear.
got jokes.
Practice in your comedy.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I really was oblivious to the human crisis in the Bahamas until you all keep on mentioning it, right? So I don't really think the politicians probably know how serious it is until about last week I went to the ATM and a lady just tried before me, right? So I said, "Miss, you don't do that nowadays. You don't just put up on someone." So the lady said as well, "Sir, could I ask you a question? Could I have $50, please?" I said, $50? And I can't give you no $50. You want my woman kill me? So she said, no, sir. I living inside my car. I say, what?
Oh boy.
The woman was actually living in a car with her kids.
Yeah.
So I didn't know it was that serious. Now, a third thing I want to mention, because I know a lot of people, you have a lot of callers coming in, right? two items. One I feel is on both sides, right, make this one mistake. You assume you have money to work with to cover your plans. You have no idea what you're working with. When you come into government, right, you don't know if money is in there. You know money in the kitty. So how could you come up, and you have ideas, right, but how could you accomplish your goal if you don't know if there's any money there?
Thank you so much, caller. Excellent question. And I was actually just about to pivot to that with Mr. Roll, because the leader of the opposition, Mr. Pintard, has put out there a very ambitious housing plan. I think the number that we're getting is 2,000 houses within, to start, that they'd start within the first 6 months. So the first question I have when I hear something like that is, how much is this going to cost us? Is this actually feasible, Mr. Roll?
You know, it is very feasible. And to speak to what that caller said about not knowing what you have in the kitty to do these projects, you have to be prepared in any event. Every government needs to be prepared when they come in to see what they're going to do for the Bahamian people. You have to have a plan. That's why we run. We want a mandate. And when you get there, you be honest with the people. You tell them how much they are. You tell them if you have to pivot, that you have to pivot, and you tell them why. You're very clear about what the government has as a part of its resources. One of the things I will say with regard to the funding for something of the housing program is the F&M plans to have what we call a real estate investment trust. And you can call it REAT. You can use that acronym.
Okay.
A real estate investment trust. And that's where we intend to mobilize hundreds of millions of dollars from the private funding and to use it. Okay. And so that's an innovative way of trying to raise the resources for dealing with this housing problem.
So it's like a PPP. Is that what's going to happen?
Well, it's involving private funding.
Okay.
And so it's going to be able to use the private funding. So yes, is a short answer. Similar with regard to that. And so it's going to be capable of developing on a large scale, innovative housing solutions for our people. Okay. And listen, we have the land. We have the technological know-how. We have persons who know exactly how we need to do this. We just need to mobilize and put it all together to put the structure in place.
Do we have a number in our head of how much this is going to cost?
Millions.
Every budget?
Millions.
Hundreds of millions?
Millions. Hundreds of millions.
I asked because we've been running a deficit for the past few years. So it's always that concern, well, where do we get this extra money from? We know that there are some other institutions, education, I feel, that it's underfunded. We see what's happening with the hospital. It gives us the impression that too is underfunded. And to the caller's question, will we have those resources to pull this off?
We have to be full and frank with the Bahamian people. When the Free National Movement is elected, I think that there's going to be a conversation about the financial health of the country, a full and frank financial conversation, especially when you want to do something as bold and innovative as this. We have to be real with the Bahamian people. And why I say hundreds of millions of dollars, and you can't peg a particular sum to it right now.
We're going to keep trying. We're going to get that number out.
When you look at housing and construction,
right,
we all know that things fluctuate, things change with regard to materials and other resources. And so pegging a particular number right now is unrealistic, but we do know it's going to be hundreds of millions of dollars because of the ambition the Free National Movement government will put in place.
All right, let's get back to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Hey, good afternoon, Naughty MJ.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, afternoon.
I didn't get the candidate name for...
It's Mr. Serfent Roll. He's the candidate, Roll, the candidate for Tall Pines.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Yeah. I want to find out what is the. I mean, you guys touch on what I was calling about when it relates to the hospital, because I mean, when it comes to priority, right? I don't know if our hospital should continue to be taken aback, or second or third when it relates to the saving lives, right? Now, when it comes to the ambitious plan of the housing, hey, that's overdue. We need that, right? That's something. But I don't think that should be more ambitious right now than possibly trying to put get that hospital in the area it needs to be in, because we're dealing with lives, right? We had a PLP talking about a hospital that we ain't gonna see. We don't know we ain't gonna see that, right? That ain't coming, right? But please, I would like to hear what the FLM plan is when it relates to building possibly a hospital in the western district of the Bahamas that really is a general hospital and not just maternity hospital. And then when it comes to the present economic climate in this country, with behemoths can't find jobs, who you think is going to get these homes you allege that they're going to build? Because from the standpoint, behemoths saying waken. And I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you.
All right, caller.
so
Thanks.
much.
Good points. Good questions.
Mr. Roland.
Yeah, and I'm happy that the caller has mentioned healthcare. It affects each and every one of us.
Who does it?
Every single Bahamian, every single visitor to our shores needs to know that we have a healthcare system that is in place, that we can have confidence in and rely on. And so it is extremely important. One of the things that I know the Free National Movement government will do is we will focus as a part of the healthcare, especially, in all islands, but in New Providence, we talk about the wait time for an ambulance. Sometimes you call, there is no ambulance.
I know we're 13 that got stick shift, though. I don't know if people have to drive
There's
them.
actually a story in today's Tribune that details the long wait times for patients. It was quite eye-opening, and everything that we've been hearing recently about the hospital tells us that our health is a lot of work.
We have to look at the emergency services itself. When persons, wherever they are, have an emergency, there needs to be some level of confidence that there's going to be the fastest, quickest, reliable method of getting them attention. And so our ambulance structure and services really needs to be looked at. The roads are a different issue that the ambulance need to go on.
Right.
But the ambulance is one thing. But then also when we look at the clinics, we have clinics throughout the country.
Right.
Some of them just, let's be real, some of them just it's just an open door. Really the services that can be provided is just sit still, we can try airlift you. Or something like that. We need some serious attention to these clinics that we have. We have some wonderful medical health professionals and persons who will come on board, I believe, who will be educated. We need to ensure that they have the resources, the infrastructure in place, so that wherever you effective means of health care. And so the clinics are one thing that we have to focus on. That's in New Providence is one thing we talk about that. The Family Islands, my goodness. You talk to some people, you have stressed out medical professionals if you have them on these islands. And then when you look at the infrastructure that's in place, it's crumbling infrastructure. I'm still talking about the clinics. I didn't even get to some of the airports yet.
Or the ambulances, or the fire engines.
Or no ambulances.
Exactly.
And so you have these things. So we have to focus on what we have right now and simultaneously look towards what we will hope to construct in the future. And I believe that I know that the Free National Movement wants to focus on what we have. We have to save lives today. We have to take preventative measures today. We have to have maintenance on our current infrastructure today. And so the clinics that we have, the ambulances that we have, the ones that we don't have that we need to get very quickly, we need to focus on those. And then we have Princess Margaret Hospital. We need to spend so much more time and money enhancing what we have there so that it does what it's supposed to do, be a hospital for persons who are in need of life-saving and in almost all instances, care. And so we want to deal with Princess Margaret Hospital on a large level. And then from there, move on as well to providing perhaps another majestic, amazing piece of infrastructure.
The new hospital that's on the table now, that this current Ministry of Health, the Minister of Health has talked about, the one that they planned for, what's the area, near
Papal track and into the entrance of the quote-unquote White Grove.
What are your thoughts on that? Is that something that we need at this time?
I stand with the Free National Movement candidates for Fort Charlotte and Fort Killarney, Michael Barnett Ellis and Travis Robinson. I stand with them in the statement that they made that it should be scrapped. We should move to look at alternative venues. I look at the environmental concerns that are there. I look at traffic concerns. I look at the concerns of the people who actually live.
Is it just the location or the whole idea of a new hospital at this time?
I think what we should do is we should focus on Princess Margaret Hospital initially. It needs attention. It needs help. People talk about rats. You've seen videos of water pouring from ceilings.
Yeah.
We've seen instances about a month or two ago where the electricity went off and the generators didn't kick in. We have an immediate problem.
Not to mention the medical waste that's piled up in the back there.
That's just PMH. We're not talking even about the RAND. We've seen those videos and whatnot about the medical waste that has been piling up in Grand Bahama, which is another set of problems when we talk about Grand Bahama. What we see here, what we see happening is we see problems. Yes, we are happy people in the Bahamas. You could go to Aoraki Fish Fry and you could have a drink, you could have a laugh. You could go to church and you could dance up and down and have a laugh. But we still got plenty problems in this country.
Right.
Plenty problems in this country. And so just because I can smile with you and we can have a good time does not mean that there's not somebody going to bed tonight hungry. And politicians joking.
Let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Hey, Indigos in the Casalias.
Well, who's this? You know me by my government name.
Yeah, James Weberg.
Oh, Lord. What's going on, Weberg? What's happening?
All right, I just want to ask the guy, okay, he's saying that the government has the land, private investors have the money. Where is this land?
Thank you very much.
That's your only question, Weberg?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, I hope you well, man. Regard to the front.
Yeah, thanks. You too.
Thanks. Okay, so have you identified the area where the houses, a few areas, and is it just New Providence, or when you talk about 2,000 homes per year, archipelago?
We're talking about the entire archipelago.
Okay.
And so, I mean, that almost answers the question there. There's land. There's land that is in New Providence, there's land in Grand Bahama, and every family island. We look at the inventory that the government has. We look at that, and then we would determine where's the best place. Because guess what? When we look at assessments that are made, you have to look at things like flooding. You have to look at other things that may affect the type of development that you want to have. And so we would have a serious conversation with regard to what inventory there is and how it would be applied.
How nimble is the Free National Movement on this plan? Because there has been some reporting over the past few weeks that there may be upwards of some 25,000 homes in the country that are just unoccupied right now. So how does that play into your plans for 2,000 homes every year?
Well,
new construction.
Well, I know one of the things that we want to do with regard to this housing plan, this housing initiative, is we also want to look at the current inventory of unoccupied homes.
Right.
That the banks may have, that whoever may have.
Right.
You know, we're looking at that as well and seeing how that can be best blended into this current program. You drive through any community, and there are monuments in some communities, overgrown yards and whatnot. We wonder what happened. And if you delve into the situation, speak to some of the neighbors, people have fallen on hard times. And some of these homes have been taken by different financial institutions. And also some of them are, even if they haven't been taken, some people just have not been able to maintain them. And they've had to consolidate where they live as a family. And so you see people moving back in with their children or other family members just to make ends meet.
All right, let me go to the text lines real quick. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Please ask your guest, what about the garbage talking about in New Providence? What's the realistic plan? I'm tired of lip service. Here's another one. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Good afternoon to your guest. A tractor was shipped to Exuma for the farmers. It has been sitting catching salt water. Doubt it has a battery for it to run, and it seems it came here to just rot down. Please bring this to the attention of Jomo Campbell.
Exuma. Okay.
A tractor?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it was for the farmers down there on a farming project, and now it's lying idle. So I guess Mr. Campbell, Minister of Agriculture, and then obviously the Deputy Prime Minister, that's Exuma. That's Mr. Exuma himself.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Attention, Mr. Chester Cooper, on that one.
Yeah, attention. Exuma needs the attention. If there's anything like that happening, they definitely needs the Deputy Prime Minister to pay attention.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ, and to your guests. We need a new government, and our new government to be able to multitask. The 3 number 1 items is healthcare, illegal immigration, and fraudulent documents in education.
Fraudulent documents in education?
You kind of slid made that 4, Dexter. I mean, that was 4 things, but...
No, that's a new one. I heard that, so...
No, but let me just count them down. Healthcare, illegal immigration, fraudulent documents, and education. That's
okay,
4.
4 things. Okay, I got you.
So if you want to, I got more texts coming in, but if you want to speak to some of those that came.
Well, you said sorry.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, well, let's speak to immigration because I know this is a topic your party has spoken a lot on the past couple of months. We had the launch of Operation Shield. And so where do things stand now?
Listen, when we speak to Bahamians, people tell us that immigration is a huge concern. Okay. What I like about Tall Pines, the persons that I speak in Tall Pines, they always preempt that statement by talking about immigration, by reminding they don't have a problem with who it is, where they come from, XYZ. We just need to regulate this. We need to control this. And this reminds me about the good nature of Bahamians. We are welcoming people, you know. We treat people good.
Very good.
In the Bahamas.
Sometimes too good.
Too good. Sometimes. But we don't want to be taken advantage of. And so when we hear about the teachers themselves talking about issues where immigration is affecting the way their instruction is in schools, when we hear about parents talking about the fact that some programs are oversubscribed because, so that's one issue, how immigration affects education.
Right.
Then there's an issue with regard to immigration or unregulated or unfocused on immigration affects healthcare. Now, we've heard all the stories about the burden on the healthcare system that we just spoke about.
Right.
Operation Shield does not target any particular nationality. It protects Bahamian sovereignty. And so Operation Shield, and you can go to fnmbahamas.org and get all the information on Operation Shield, or you can ask any one of the FNM candidates. It details and outlines a real approach to dealing with the immigration issue that has been allowed to run away in this country. And so that Operation Shield is progressive. I didn't want to use that word, but it is really indeed a progressive piece of work that has been established and that we are putting as a part of our mandate for the Bahamian people.
All right.
Let's pivot a little bit because another thing that made some headlines today is this story in the Nassau Guardian that talks about, well, I would say energy. So we're learning that Bahamas Power and Lights, their chief operating officer, Mr. Anthony Christie, said yesterday that the power company continues to actively explore hedging options for the purchase of fuel in order to beat price volatility, and it's also conducting a tariff review. What are your thoughts on what's happening right now with the cost of electricity? And
did you say hedging options?
Yeah, they're exploring hedging options. So,
the irony.
A little bit of a full circle moment. Although, in fairness, they said back in 2022 that they would continue to explore hedging options. We could have used it over the summer because things have been really rough.
I just want to
in terms of prices.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but it just came to mind, and you know, I would just throw out there innovative instead of progressive. Moving forward.
Yes, I like that. Thank you. Innovative.
Thesaurus.
Yes.
Wordsmith I am.
Innovative free movement. Free national movement. Yes.
So what about energy? The cost of energy. That's also one of the things contributing to us being stressed out as Bahamians.
And I find it so ironic, though, that the FNM did have a hedge plan in place prior to this administration taking over. Here we are. And we look at 528 at Rubis, 548 at Esso, and 528 at Shell. That's just the gasoline. We're even talking about the electricity or the power.
Wow. And that affects people, whether you have an electric car or a gas guzzler, that affects you.
And then obviously with electricity as well.
Yep.
Because it seems like Bunker C will never end or done in this country.
Hedging. You know, when we talk about, I used to get tired sometimes when people talked about electricity and we talked about the fuel costs and we talk about the hedging program, because I felt as if it was, when we explained when this government did away with what was established, it was one of the worst things that they could do to the Bahamian people. The burden placed on every single Bahamian because of that. Because everything that happens here affects all of us throughout the length and breadth of the country. When I say here, I'm talking about even New Providence.
Right.
Okay? And so, I was talking today to somebody, and it was an interesting thing. They said that when we talk to Bahamians today, we have to remind them that the fuel rates, remain significantly higher today than they were prior to September 16th, 2021. That is a fact. And that ain't got nothing to do with inflation. That have to do with people ignoring common sense decisions, okay? And so that's something that we have to, that's a fact. You could Google it. You could do whatever the search engines, you could look. That is a fact. It's significantly higher. Not just higher, because things go higher. Right. Significantly higher, okay? Now, some of us could smile, but you say that to the person who kept trying to pay their fuel bills because of political arrogance. So we look at it, it is a fact, and I want everybody to look at the fuel rates prior to September 21st. From September 21st, 2021 to now, to today, it's significantly higher. And so we see that the fuel surcharge under 5,000 kilowatts for consumers paying 65.71% higher today under the PLP. Fact. That's a fact.
So how do we fix this situation? I mean, I'm glad that they are exploring hedging options, because hopefully next summer things will be a whole lot better than they were this past summer. But the overall energy plan, what are we doing as a country?
Well,
what should we be doing as a country?
We have to explore. For me, I like when we look at alternative energy. And see how we can blend it in even incrementally into our system. I know some people, I saw a TikTok or something by a government official who said, well, you can't do this because of this or whatever when we talked about the solar, right?
Right.
But we could try.
You said a TikTok by a government official?
Were they shooting a jump shot at the time, attempting to be Larry Bird? Or
I can't even remember what it was. But she said,
right?
The wrong one, because I seen another one on TikTok.
Yeah, said something. I looked at it and I said, "Does this have to be a prank? Does this have to be a joke?" Listen, we innovative. We are innovative. The Bahamas is the best country in the world. We should do everything that we can to make sure that we have a good life here in the Bahamas. Then we ain't making no sense otherwise. And so we have to look at the alternatives. We have to have, and don't just tell people you can't do it. Explain to them sensibly why we can't do it. And we know we can, because we did it before. So, and we had the plan in place, so don't tell me we can't do it. Talk to people like they got sense, because we got sense in the Bahamas.
All right, let's get to the text lines. I got a couple here for you. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ, and to your guest. Your guest is saying we need to look at the hospital and ambulance situation, but he's not saying where the funding will come from for this project. So that's one for you. Another question, what is the F&M going to do with illegal immigration in this country? Or are they going to continue the PRP job of doing nothing and telling the illegals they are one of them? What I think Mr. Rose spoke to that earlier.
Yeah, I think he just
with Shield.
Maybe you missed it.
Texter.
He just spoke to that.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Please ask, what is the plan for road development and traffic management in Nassau? We have already outgrown the improvements that were made by the Ingram administration in regards to roads. And here's another one that came back. Naughty and MJ, please clarify to your guest. I'm referring to illegal immigration, which includes our passports being obtained illegally. The court cases verify this is happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think he spoke generally to the Free National Movement's plan. When is your manifesto going to be live and available for persons to read? I know that you have put some information out so far. Do you have an idea about when we'll be able to see the complete plan of the Free National Movement?
I think the complete plan of the Free National Movement will be closer to when we know the
general.
I'd
say, what's the okay?
I think that definitely will be. But if you see what we're doing, we're not holding back. Okay, we're providing week after week new information for persons, and this is based on ideas that we've gotten, not just sitting around our own table. We've been on the road. We've been talking to people. We have obvious issues in this country. And so if we don't want to be innovative, if we want to keep on doing the same, get the same results, right? And so we want to try some new things with regard to this and speaking to people who know exactly what they want. If you speak to the average Bahamian, we know what the problems are and we know how we want them to be fixed. It ain't no rocket science. And so we're right on the track with that. When you see that manifesto, hold on to your seat.
One of the things that was revealed recently, which I like the idea, I hate the name. I think you guys are calling it child support or something like that, but it's like a child credit, child care credit or child benefit. That's a very unique idea. What's the inspiration behind that? Why did you guys think it was necessary to move in that direction? And is that something you're excited about?
Very excited about it. The best thing that we can do is to assist Bahamians who need the help, especially when they are their most vulnerable. And at your most vulnerable includes infants. It includes those children who need to know that their parents can actually provide for them, who need to know that the parents can get the resources that they need at a critical stage, birth. Okay? And so this part of this program is to assist Bahamians. You have to be Bahamian to assist Bahamians with some of the most with needs that they may have when they have children. And so that program has been well received. Some people may have scoffed at it. The persons who scoffed at it, that I've spoken to, they don't need the resources. But when you talk to the next person, the lady down the street, she says, thank God. Now, some persons, I know when we first said it, some person said to me that this was going to be a backdoor to, again, immigrants. It is not. One of the requirements is you have to be a Bahamian. The Free National Movement, FNMBahamas.org, has that program and all these other things that we've spoken about today outlined on there.
Yeah, I think the program is actually a good program. When you have those little ones and you have to buy like diapers and stuff like that, it is a good relief, I think.
Correct.
I mean, again, once you guys give us your plan full-throated, we're going to be asking, and many Bahamians will, where's the funding coming from this? Is something else going to have to suffer in order for you to be able to do this?
That's what I'm getting a lot of texts asking, like, in regards to the hospital. It's a great idea, but where's the funding come from? Or is it going to be private investors that line up to do it?
The conversation about the funding for the hospital, right? The question that I ask, where's the funding for the new hospital coming from?
Well,
okay,
China apparently.
Exactly. Okay, and there were other conversations with other
the British apparently that got.
Okay, my point is there were conversations. If there's something that we need, there are different mechanisms. We know we've done things in this country before in terms of financing different projects and whatnot. Okay. We will be responsible and engage with responsible entities, parties in terms of funding, providing funding for the development or the maintenance and the renovation, whatever needs to happen to the Princess Margaret Hospital and the clinics. We don't have much of a choice in this regard because, as I said, healthcare is extremely important. We need to sit down at the table and we need to decide how this is going to be done. We need to be mature about this. This isn't something that should be just politics.
Okay.
When you're talking about infrastructure, when you're talking about these things that we all need, because it doesn't matter if you're PLP or FNM going to the hospital. When you think about those things that we all need, we need it to be done and we need it to make sense.
All right, let's pivot a little bit to something I'm sure is on everyone's mind, which is the by-election in Golden Isles that's coming up. First, can you tell us what you're seeing on the ground in Golden Isles? How confident do you feel about your party's chances in this by-election?
Very confident. When I speak to persons from Golden Isles who are going to be making the decision, because you could have a conversation with anybody around the water cooler, but if they're in St. Anne's or Yamacraw, they're not voting in Golden Isles.
True.
When I speak to those persons, and those are the persons that I actually seek out to have a conversation with and to campaign for Brian Brown, the FNM's candidate, they tell me that they agree. Brian Brown has been in Golden Isles as an advocate for the persons, as a person who's been attracting resources to provide different activities to the persons in Golden Isles. One of the things that I saw in a Golden Isles by-election, I saw a flyer that Brian had about BGCSE and other programs during the summer, training, educational programs.
I think actually both candidates have done that. I saw
One just did it.
No,
One just did it.
No, but I've seen it from Mr. Pickstock as well, which I think is actually pretty awesome that both of them are focused on
But
education.
what I'm saying, MJ, is before, and if you listen to me, before we even thought about an idea of a by-election in Golden Isles.
Gotcha.
I'm not talking since we knew there was going to be one. Before we ever even dreamed or fathomed there would be a by-election in Golden Isles, Brian Brown was there. Brian Brown had his program in the summer. Every summer. Brian Brown, if you go on his Facebook page for Golden Isles, you will see every year he takes his seniors out, people over 60, at least twice a year on a tour of New Providence. He's had back-to-school programs. And I'm not just talking about back-to-school, giving out a backpack. This man has had programs where people could come and be tutored even before he knew that there was going to be a by-election. He didn't just do this in the last couple of weeks.
So you're feeling good in Golden Isles? Is that what I'm hearing?
Listen, I am feeling confident in the Bahamian people and the persons in Golden Isles to elect Brian Brown as the next member of Parliament for Golden Isles.
Well, I got a couple of things. I got a couple of questions and texts we got to get to. But one in particular, I look at today's Guardian headline: Pickstock, work won't stop in Golden Isles. I think that kind of is a little disingenuous because the work didn't start. And I don't know who he was blaming with his early, stance and proclamations. Was it the Levon Miller? Was it the PRP? Why didn't the work start? But now the work has started. But I've been around enough elections to see and to know that if I'm three-legged goat running for the PRP in Golden Isles with a yellow T-shirt on, those roads were going to get paved regardless. Mm-hmm. So I think Bahamians need to stop being served a dish of disingenuous campaign rhetoric, and we want answers. Whether we live here, whether we live in Golden Isles, whether we live in Carmichael, whether we live in the West, the East, PI, wherever. And I think that the Bahamians want to know that the work will continue. And obviously, if you look at somebody who's been doing work with no budget, with no MP's budget, out of his own pocket, and stayed there post, like they even say, an election cut skin, I mean, you got to look at it.
The only candidate in this race who has shown and displayed that the work will continue no matter what is Brian Brown.
All right, we'll get to this break.
We have to take a quick break right now. We have so many more questions from Mr. Roll, including whether or not this upcoming by-election will serve as a referendum on his party's leadership. We'll get to that and so much more.
And all of the texts. All of you texts, I promise we will read your
text.
text.
We will get all of the texts right after this break. You're listening to Talking Heads on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. We'll be back.
More than try to stop me, and the more me reach further. More than try to fool me, and the more me get wiser. How cool, fire get rid of. Every day them get up and about them at the best. How them want to live like the wild.
Naughty Johnny's restaurant can only be described as the experience you want to recreate again and again and again. Their motto is simple food done well. You're welcome into their home at Naughty Johnny's, where you can dine on crack conch fritters, and other Bahamian favorites. There's also an international flair that's guaranteed to offer something for everyone. Enjoy a good meal and listen to a live band on their patio Friday and Saturday nights, or brunch on Saturday and Sunday. Only at Naughty Johnny's restaurant in the Old Town Plaza, Old Fort. They're open 11 a.m. till 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday, and 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Sunday. Naughty Johnny's. Well, what the
Are you searching for something new? Something exciting? Your dream job in paradise? Well, look no further. Royal Beach Club Paradise Island is hiring. Join a dynamic group of passionate hospitality professionals, craft unforgettable moments, and thrive in a vibrant, welcoming atmosphere. Play your part in shaping the future of our team while growing your own career every day. Bring your energy, your passion, and your creativity to a workplace that's as dynamic and fun as you are. At Royal Beach Club Paradise Island, the opportunities don't just exist. They're limitless. So visit Royal Beach Club at paradiseisland.com/career today and step into a world of exciting possibilities.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Learn more at cancercenter.com.
Feeding the crew? Fueling the cravings? There's something for everyone with the new KFC Fill-Up Box. Serving 6 juicy pieces of chicken, 4 buttery biscuits, crispy fries to share, and 12 premium original recipe KFC nuggets. All packed into one crave-worthy box. Not a crumb's gonna survive when the KFC box hits the table. So dig in and do whatever the crunch you want with the KFC Fill-Up Box. Only at KFC. It's finger-licking good.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Fire keep burning, can't cool, can't cool, can't cool. Yo, the more them type to kill women and the more we live longer. More them type to win women and the more me get stronger. More them type to fool me and the more me get wiser. Can't cool, the fire get bigger on the street.
Talking Heads with Naughty is brought to you by Burger King, City of Hope, Fine Threads, the Free National Movement, John's Department Store, Kelly's Home Center, KFC, Muffler World, Naughty Johnny's, NRG Nutrition, Prince Masters, Royal Caribbean Cruises Limited, and Tropical Gyros.
And I know they use them seats. We can't free for them, so we must free to speak. And the high trade go reach. And I know they use
We're back at ya. On the Wednesday, November 12th edition of Talking Heads, your boy Naughty and your company along with Mary Jane, right up until 6 p.m. Our special guest, F&M, a ratified candidate for the Tall Pines constituency, Mr. Sir Frank Rowe. Continuing the conversation, and we appreciate you going over. Let me jump in and get these. Buckle up. Listen out for your text to be read. Uncle Naughty go read them, okay? Here we go. First and foremost, Naughty and MJ, good afternoon. Could you please ask your guests how will the F&M ensure that illegal foreign nationals do not vote in this election? That's one. Then we continue. And I mean, I'm going to hit you off with the text, and then obviously we'll let you respond. But there is a multitude of texts, so let me get to them. Good Naughty and MJ. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Ask your guests, okay, we covered the illegal migration. Please ask what is the plan for road development and traffic. That is another one that just came back up. Naughty, Jomo Campbell is a waste of time. The residents of Fort Fincastle, his area, his constituency have been trying to have derelict vehicles removed to no avail. He's missing in action, so take him out of the equation, please. Good afternoon, Naughty, and my favorite talk show host, MJ. And good afternoon to your guests. We are pulling for you from Central and South Eleuthera. Good luck, sir. We are very well aware the work you're doing in New Providence. And yes, Eleuthera needs relief.
Thank you.
Naughty, good afternoon, and good afternoon to MJ and to your guests. The F&M under Pintard can reduce the total cost of electricity to under 20 cents a kilowatt from almost 50 cents now. Have a discussion on this on another day, and I can break it down. A public strategy and planning is coming. Just need a F&M administration to bring about the transformative legislation and or policy. Naughty and MJ, good afternoon. Ask Mr. Roll if they are conducting training for poll workers. Eleuthera is overrun with illegals. Good evening, Naughty and MJ. That food assistance will not work. Bahamians too corrupt. All kind of persons who don't need it will be getting it, including illegals. Programs like that encourage laziness. If you lay down to make babies, you should be responsible and pay to take care of them. Good afternoon. What is the plan for garbage and derelict buildings' right to have their father's name being registered on their birth certificate? There are too many fatherless children in the country. Will you address the brain drain in the country? What is the plan to attract these persons and discourage people from leaving? All right, let's work with them for now.
Yeah, let's start with the first one.
And some were repetitive in the sense that they were asking the same questions.
So the first one was, how do you ensure illegals don't vote in the next election? Is that something that you're concerned about?
We always are concerned, not just about the illegals. Anybody who should be on the register should be on the register.
Okay.
Persons who should not be on the register should not be on. It's as simple as that. Anybody who is not a Bahamian citizen and who does not have the right to vote as a Bahamian citizen should not be on the register. And so one of the things that we want to do is we want to be vigilant, and we want to ask the parliamentary commissioner and his team. They work hard, but they have to do their jobs, and they will continue to do their jobs, and we will continue to assist them in doing their jobs by highlighting anything that we know any findings that we have, questioning and asking answers of them when we know that there's an issue. And so we will continue to work with the Parliamentary Registration Department, as all political parties do, in providing the information to assist them, because this is for the Bahamas to have a sanitized register as much as possible.
And biometrics, I know that bill recently passed in the House. So good on that? We're not good on that? I'm not sure. What is the position of, the political class?
We continue to monitor it just as we would monitor the paper registration.
Okay.
It's just another avenue that we have to look at. We need Bahamians to report. People, everybody's dog. You know when somebody's trying to do something, or you have an idea, report it to the authorities, report it to someone if you know if there's an illegal immigrant or any type of illegal activity surrounding the voters register. And one of the other things that we do is we have vigilant poll workers for their political party and persons who work the polls as a part of the electoral exercise on the government end or the people's end. They will be vigilant as well. And so we're all working together to ensure that we have a register where persons who are supposed to be on it are and persons who are not are not.
All right, Texas, all four of you had that same similar question. I think that covered the bases on that. Let's go to the phone. Nice talking heads.
Hi, Naughty MJ, and good afternoon to your guests.
Happy birthday from all of us to you. Hey, happy birthday from all of us to you, Jeff.
Happy birthday, Jeff.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. It's been quite a very peaceful day. Haven't done anything much, listened a lot, and fully absorbing what is being said, especially for the election season and the by-election that is coming up. It's very interesting that you would mention the biometrics. To me personally, the biometrics has no weight in it at all, because when you start from the position of fault, then putting a measure in place that is not going to correct that fault, it then becomes an issue. What I mean by that is simply this. We know that there are many persons in this country who have been given fraudulent documents. We know of many persons in this country where allegations have been made that our documents were given out to persons who are not deserving of our documents. And even if you were to go and create the biometrics for the same persons who would have received our documents fraudulently, it does not solve the issue. The issue is that we have persons voting in this election who are not Bahamians. And the deed poll, for which we have been asking our government, successive governments, to quash, to seal, to cancel, to abolish, that has not been done. We have people that is traditionally recognized as those of Bahamians. People, we have heard stories where persons are going in the graveyard and taking these names off and using these names. And, and the list goes on and on and on. As far as I am concerned, when you talk about people voting in these elections, they're doing it out of loyalty because this fraudulent act has been extended to them. And so as a favor, they decide to return that favor back to those who gave them the right to citizenship and the right to vote. And I'll close on this one thing. The Bahamian people have also been asking for the three-tier system in terms of pathway to existing in this country. That is residency, permanent residency, and citizenship that should only be reserved for those who are born fourth, fifth, sixth generations of Bahamians in this country. And yet, we have no government even address adequately any of these concerns that we as Bahamians have. And they still, as if we might as well have knocked our heads against the wall and didn't even ask anything to be fixed or corrected because nothing has been done. So, as far as these elections are concerned, the Bahamas is not for Bahamians anymore. And I can leave my commentary at that because I am totally disgusted with the level of representation from our successive governments who have sacrificed. They could have gone to other countries to live, but they chose to come back here to the Bahamas. It's a sin and a shame that our country is in the manner and the way that it is today. But thanks for taking my call. I'll continue to listen.
And continue to enjoy your birthday, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, let's get to the other calls. Talking heads. Hey, what's happening?
Everything good. No, I wanted to ask. I only had no one talk for this for a long time. what we can do with this traffic and what we can do with this traffic in Nassau. How they can design more new roads, or what they can do, because every day for years, problems going. Like right now, I on the road right now, and all the first thing in the morning I get up, I come out, I traffic.
Where exactly are you right now?
Right now, I am on a Go Slow Bend.
Oh, Lord Jesus! And which way you going?
I heading Bay Street.
So you heading up toward town, toward Bay Street, then? So you still got to pass Saunders Beach, Fish Fry, and all of that.
Yes, but the thing with Naughty, every day I wake out here.
Right.
Every day, even in the morning and daytime for years, it's been like that.
We live in there. I mean, MJ live in the West, so we know you're paying on that Go Slow Band right now. And so go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, but see, Naughty, that's these small things with hurt people. And when you got to come home, when you get off from work and you need to try to get home, when you take a lunch break, you're trying to get out this way, you can't. Naughty, every hour, every second, every minute of the day, first thing in the morning, you got to get up and try to beat the traffic. Now, when you get up early in the morning, you still buck traffic. So no one is. I mean, what they can do with this traffic? What they can do? If we need more police, we need more of the traffic police on the road to direct traffic. Don't see them. Where these traffic police be? They only come out when it's accident and everything. They be supposed to have these police on the road every day.
I think if we had a proper highway patrol unit that with enough bikes and enough manpower that was just dedicated to the highways, a la the United States, not only would it help the bottom line, whatever tickets and fines they regulated, it would help the flow of traffic. It would be able, it'd be able to introduce measures to ease the access and flow of traffic in certain areas.
I only see the speed cops flying up and down when they carrying the PM wrong or carrying the...
Correct. That's why I said we need a unit dedicated to that, meaning multiple bikes that don't break down, multiple cars that don't break down, and that unit dedicated to dealing with highway patrol. We have enough highways now.
Thank you.
Good stuff, man.
Thank you so
I
much,
appreciate
caller.
the call, and don't be no stranger, man. I know the voice. Keep up the good work, bro. Be safe.
I do recall that the Commissioner of Police recently also talked about there being a 2,000 person shortage on the Royal Bahamas Police Force. So when you talk about resources,
shortage of nurses, shortage of police officers
in that area as well. But let's find out from Mr. Roll, what are your thoughts or ideas in terms of, because another texter did ask this question, any plans for road development
and the inner city
and dealing with the traffic situation?
I had a conversation, and I'm happy to call in about that and those who text. I had a conversation with some of the residents in Tall Pines, live in the cul-de-sac, and they were talking about the traffic issues. Because in that area, going into Milo Butler, Fire Trail, and whatnot.
Yes.
Listen.
Any roundabout.
I'm surprised that some food vendors haven't actually popped up to sell food to people just sitting in their cars.
That's a good idea.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That may cause more problems. But one of the things that we spoke about in some countries, I know that sometimes when you're on the road in New Providence, you're going one way in the morning and the traffic flow in the opposite direction is minimal. It's you see them just flying by because ain't nobody going that way. Everybody going into town, as we say, or into to the major commercial centers. One thing that I saw that happened in a different country, and I believe it may be Singapore, is that at peak times or at specific times, the areas, the flow of traffic around the roundabouts,
right?
They actually stop traffic from coming. Let's say the majority of traffic goes from east to west. They stop the traffic going from west to east because it's minimal. So they have them pile up for a little bit and have a dual lane, which would otherwise be a one-way. They have a dual lane only for a specific time period. And I think they call it express period, just to get all of those people out. So if you're thinking about people all packed up in the east.
Man, I listen, I think it's a great idea in the real world, but this is the Bahamas. Could you imagine if we open up, man, I could then see some road cutters.
I thought about that.
You know what I'm talking about, the cutters.
Yeah.
I thought about that too. But if we were to, as a people, be mature about it. And if the persons who would be charged with actually doing this, because if it happens elsewhere, we're just as good as elsewhere.
Correct.
We can be disciplined when we want to be disciplined. You try.
We go for it and be disciplined.
Oh yeah, we'll sit right there and we'll wait if we was to wait. You know. But just think about it. So that's just one idea. It's not the only idea. We have to think of many other things because that may work for that country.
Right.
We have to find out what works in the Bahamas, and it may be a combination of things. One of the things that did work, and you talked about. Not necessarily having more highways and whatnot, right? I think that's what you suggested to the gentleman.
No, I said to have more, as in the States, like highway patrol, like more officers on bikes, more units. Obviously, they could direct the flow of traffic, but they could also, deal with accidents, deal with tickets, deal with fines, obviously, if they catch people on the road illegally.
Yeah.
But for the most part, to conduct traffic movement in a sensible, fast fashion.
Good. I agree with that. I think that we do need more of that. I think people should be specifically recruited to be...
make a whole unit.
Yes.
Make a whole arm
I think they're
force.
ready. They have that. And I agree with you on that.
And shout out to the crew who's working there now. They do a good job.
They have technology. They are
give them more
staff.
Give them more resources, and I think that could work better for all Bahamians.
Certainly.
Let's get to the phone lines real quick. Talking Heads.
Hi, good afternoon, Noddy. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Yo, man, good afternoon to you and your guests. I listening to you, and I'm hearing you all talk about the traffic situation. I feel like adding more police officers will help in deterring some of the traffic in terms of people who are not licensed and insured, and et cetera, et cetera. However, I think we're forgetting the fact that Nassau is the hub of the economy for the Bahamas. And every year you have, at least about 5,000 students coming out of school, give or take?
Give or take, yeah.
Okay. Not all of them are going to go to university. Let's just say a couple hundred go off to school or whatever. Now, where are we going to put them? They're going to go looking for jobs, right?
Correct.
Surely, yeah.
Okay. So within another year or two after that, what's the first thing they're going to buy?
Car.
Right? So the focus is not really adding police officers. The focus is we need leadership in government who could focus away from Nassau and try to develop the Family Island so we could get people out of Nassau back to the Family Island. That's the goal. That should be the focus.
That's
excellent
points.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, you're making some
points.
sense.
Yeah, how could we? Because all we're doing is creating congestion, and we see how the conditions of the road is. Everything is bad. People have no respect for the road anymore. They literally run you off the road. They dare you when they come out of the corners.
Listen,
the problem is not going to get better. It's just going to get worse. In government to start looking and say, you know something, Nassau is basically done. We don't need to look for no more investments when it comes to Nassau. Let's focus on a particular part of the island. You can get somebody to go. And I want to touch base on another point before I go.
Before you make your second point, I'll be honest with you. I always thought we could actually, at some point in our existence as Bahamians, have a bridge between Andros and New Providence. It's not that far. It's doable. I've seen a bridge between Key West and parts of Florida, the same distance.
Because let me tell you why you don't need a bridge. It's about a 15-minute flight, and then you could take a ferry. It's about a 30-40, let's say an hour.
Yeah,
ferry, right?
I understand it, but flights have issues and ferries have issues. You build a proper one, man. That's one straight rip. Bam, you in New Providence and you back out.
That could work in everything, right? But when you look at cost and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, that's true. It might be cost prohibitive. It might be cost prohibitive, but then I know we always have horrors with flights and ferries. You know that, right?
And then you have the tongue of the ocean between Nassau and
yeah, that's true.
Really deep.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's another thing. But anyhow, we have Chinese who could deal with that, and engineers, all them people, they could overcome that.
Listen, man, don't be. What's your second point?
My second point is, I heard the gentleman call and talk about the immigration situation with the, people, non-Bahamians who are going to vote and who are applying for citizenships and all this stuff. I think Bahamians fail to understand that our Constitution states that anyone born in the Bahamas, they can apply at the age of 18. It didn't say anyone born to legal parents, people who are legal in the Bahamas. So if we want to do anything about the immigration situation, we have to change the Constitution. And the only way we could do that, we have to bring a referendum. The people have to lobby to the government to make the change. That's the only way it can happen, because if you try to deny the people who are born here, even their voted their parents were illegal, first thing they're going to do is get a lawyer, and what's going to happen?
Yeah, straight
you
to
gotta go
Supreme
with the
Court.
Constitution says.
Yeah.
Good points, caller.
Thank
Don't
you
be a
so
stranger,
much,
man.
caller.
Good points, man.
Naughty, if I could just, I like what the caller said with regard to the Family Islands, and I was just looking at a note that I made earlier. One of the things is the FNM will introduce some new economic models to encourage persons to go to the Family Islands, and we will do it sensitively, that it doesn't disturb the fabric and the identity, the personality of those
the
family islands.
communities.
But we do need to encourage economic growth so that persons there will see more opportunity to have some more money and development, and also to attract persons from New Providence and Grand Bahama to go to these islands and to work and to develop. But one of the other things, though, Naughty, is, and when the caller said what he said about moving away, even with moving away to other family islands, we need to enhance and modernize our public transportation system. That's something that we can do very immediately. We need to implement programs and put in place where our busing system works. I've heard, I can't remember which show.
So when you say busing system, are you talking about state-owned busing system?
However it is. Because guess what? You can have the state-owned, and you can still also have private systems as well.
Okay.
There are different jurisdictions where they work hand in hand.
Right.
Okay. You can have different routes that are privatized. You can have routes that are the state-owned. We can have a model that works. We can make sure that everybody has a piece of the economic pie once they maintain a standard that the government has put in place. And so, if we have, think about the traffic, if we had reliable public, it can be a car, depending on, I see in some Caribbean countries, you got the public car, depending on where it is. We have to be sensitive to the communities that we serve, because also some of these buses may not have the capability to deal with some of the persons who have specific physical issues and whatnot. And so you want to also, as a part of your public service plan, have the smaller vans and cars for people who may need more catered attention.
What do you think about what's happening? You talk about transportation. You mentioned the taxi drivers earlier. What do you think about what's happening in that sector?
Listen, my father, he's deceased now. He was a retired police officer who had a lot more energy after he retired, and he still had children in school. So he found himself getting his public service license, doing Bahama hosts and whatnot, and was a taxi driver, and he enjoyed his job. He spoke about some of the issues, things that really annoyed him sometimes, and I was able to hear him speak to other taxi drivers. It is a shame that it continues today. It is a shame that taxi drivers who are really have shown over the decades that they are part of the lifeblood of this country, the tourism fabric, and also persons who may not be tourists but still rely on people who call up the taxi driver for a ride. Some people call what we call the hackers, but the taxi drivers as well, the registered ones, they are a part of the lifeblood of our tourism fabric. We have to protect them. We talk about the cost of living. Everything that we could do for taxi driver, public service workers, and everything like that, we have to do. So I stand with them on whatever issues they have. I think they at least need to be heard.
All right, let's get to the calls. But I do have a point to bring up about tourism, so I want to revert to that. But let me get these calls because they've been quite patient. Talking heads.
Hello.
Talking heads.
Good evening, Naughty.
Hey, how are you? Turn your radio down for me, Chief.
Just a minute.
There was a little feedback, so we want to hear you loud and clear. What you got for us today?
What I have for you today is you speak about the traffic situation. We can erect old passes going to and from. And at one time we had a program where vehicles of a certain age were not allowed to be brought into the country. So what could we do in this aspect? It's nice to have the highway patrol. Okay, it's nice to do that. But we have to build overpasses in order to accommodate the number of cars that are on the street. And I thank you.
Have a great day.
Have a good,
Thanks a lot.
Good evening. Yeah, good points as always. And just let me touch on this. Naughty, you can't conduct traffic from an enclosed, brand new made for ramming truck. In Bermuda, car sizes and numbers per households are restricted. By the way, what is the number of vehicles that are removed from New Providence annually? It cannot be the national policy or in our interest to license every single car that is purchased and requested to be licensed. Here's another one. No constitutional amendment is needed as the Constitution allows for additional requirements already. All right. Now, here's the question, though. Caller, I see you. We'll get to you in a sec. You mentioned tourism. You mentioned the cab industry and how they're feeling it and not being, in part of the product and disenfranchised. But on the whole, MJ made a great point a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it really dawned on us with the percentage that actually 86% of our tourism product goes directly toward cruise ship islands, cruise ship, the cruise lines.
So we have and I heard some news recently that this holiday season is going to be really good for the hotels, and I'm excited about that.
I'm
the
hoping to hear that.
occupancy
That's
is going to be
awesome.
high, and if that happens, that'll be so great for us.
Because we do need the heads and beds. But my question, and
yeah, go ahead.
How do we get to the bottom line? How do we increase, or how does the F&M, if they're the next administration, increase heads and beds, and not just here in New Providence, but within the Family Islands with boutique resorts and so on and so forth? Because obviously a necessity to Bahamians is to still be involved in our number one industry, which is tourism, where we feel an effect, where we feel the bottom line, where cab drivers make, where restaurants make, where entertainers make, where hoteliers make. They're kind of being cut out of this equation with the current model right now, with 84% coming via the cruise line, because that's where it's going to stay.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy you mentioned that.
You had any?
No.
Okay.
Also,
no, I wanted to make sure.
Well, you talk about us increasing the heads and beds, okay?
Correct.
Oh, and so there has been, from many persons, the idea was, just build something new and bigger and brighter, That has been what I believe has been some of the Bahamians' response. Well, they're tired of this one now. We need a bright new product, okay? What we have to do is we need to tighten up and make sure this product is more attractive and make sure that it's affordable in some instances, have a diversification of the product, okay? One of the ways that we do that is we have to have a serious conversation about crime, because a lot of tourists, a lot of investors, they look at the crime situation in the country. They look at the statistics. We may not look specifically at those statistics, but when an investor decides to invest, they want to make sure that they are placing their investment in some place that is stable and protected and where crime is not the issue that it is at this level that we have. When a tourist makes a place and think nothing of it, because they appear in the newspaper one day, there's an advisory from whichever country about us. But you better believe that somebody from wherever, whether it's the East Coast, the West Coast, Central, Midwest, whatever, when they make a decision, these are things that they look at, especially if this is the trip of a lifetime. And people have their different preconceived ideas about us, about different Caribbean countries. Crime is something that people talk about. And so the tourism product is affected by crime.
You think that is holding us back?
It is one of the issues that we have to deal with, because if we get it under control, if we get numbers down, if we show that we're making a concerted effort to make our product what it needs to be, it becomes more attractive, and we are more competitive when we talk about our regional brothers and sisters. Okay, when we can say this is what we've done. That is one issue, one aspect, because with tourism, there are various other things. One of the other things that I believe that we need to do is we need to increase the amount of Bahamian-made products, Bahamian-sourced produce, fruits, vegetables. We need to get them as much as possible in the hotels. That's another thing that we can market, to say that, listen, you need to come here, you're gonna have an authentic experience, XYZ percentage amount of the food that you consume. These are things that we can market. And I'm not a tourism professional. I'm just saying I believe, and the Free National Movement believes, these will enhance our product. If we want people to do what they used to do or do what they need to do, we need to make our product better.
All right, we got 2 calls. Let's get to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Hello?
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, Naughty, Mary J, and your guest, Mr. Roll.
Okay.
I was, first and foremost, I want to say that I was one who never called the talk show before Our Nation, that I believe that God wants me to have a voice. I just can't sit back idly and just watch our country go to waste like that. I was listening. Okay, what I want to say is the Bible talk about without a vision, a man will perish. Without our country having a solid vision, not just a bunch of writing on a manifesto and to say this is our manifesto, and you never see these things materialize. It just seems like it's a game, like we have to put something together so that the people could say this is what we're going to do, but then it really gets right down to the nuts and bolts. You're using all this money to travel. I mean, if we're really, really talking about fixing our nation, why would the travel for the be in the millions of dollars, and we're talking about getting houses built, roads fixed? I mean, that's not a person with a vision. I mean, you know that all these things need to be fixed, or all this, what's going on in our nation need to be taken care of. People need to come into this politics with a real, genuine heart and not just go through emotion. And I speak as a citizen who is just like, and not that I don't have faith that God is going to turn things around, but it's super frustrating. Very frustrating. We're just tired of everybody talking. I hope this, I hope that. We wish this, we wish that. And when it gets right down to it, nobody is doing nothing until the last minute. Everybody's scrambling around, trying to make the Bahamian people believe that they're doing something by just fixing a few friggin' potholes. Come on, that's frustrating.
Your frustration.
Thank you so much, caller. Don't be a stranger. Just call anytime you.
I always call, but what I'm saying is, who is listening? Yeah, we are talking, but nobody is listening to people. I listen to these talk shows every day. People are giving all kind of good ideas.
Mm-hmm.
When I think, I just want to say this in closing. When I think about how many persons have left our nation, I could think of just my own family alone. Alone, I could count them on my two hands. Okay? You know how many gifts and talents we have out there in the world, out there in the wider world? People want to come home and bring all these gifts and talents, and we just keep throwing a bunch of people in these positions who don't even know what's going on just because they voted for them. That's wrong. That is so wrong. That's why we have so much confusion, because there are people who in places who don't know what they're doing. They just got the job because they knew somebody, and then the person been on the job for years, got to go and train them.
Yeah.
Good points, caller. And again, don't be a stranger, man. Good stuff, but we got to get to the other calls. Talking Heads.
I hope she drives safe.
Talking Heads.
So let's let our guest, Mr. Fentrell, who is the ratified candidate for the Free National Movement for Tall Pines, answer that. What do you think about her frustration, some of the things she said? I think it's a usual thing to hear a lot of Bahamians say, we hear a lot of talking, but where's the action? Where are the results?
Mm-hmm. And as knocking on doors, we hear that, and we hear persons like her. There's a lot of talk. But when you see some of the plans that we've already put in place, if you've seen, like I say, go to fnmbahamas.org. You can listen to, you can read the front page of your newspaper today, okay? These are ideas that are rehashed from years gone by. And there's nothing wrong with those plans if they worked. But these are listening to people today. The Free National Movement had, for the past 3 years, working groups where persons just like the lovely lady who called were able to come into the group and talk about issues, immigration, education, pharmaceutical needs, a plethora of different issues. And so when you see these policy mandates that are about to come out from us, but we are mandates for us. When you see those come out, I think it's going to really, really let the public know that our leadership, Michael Plintard, Shannon Cartwright, are listening. The team is listening. And when we sit down as candidates, ratified candidates, and we are educated on these plans so that we can let people know how these will be implemented. It's not just pie in the sky things. Oh, we could do this, we could do that. You hear it in the past, people say, we could reduce this, we could reduce that, and not say how.
Question came through, reduce, with Be careful and remove VAT off a breadbasket item.
And so you have these things that people discuss and they feel as if nobody is listening. We are listening. We have a plan. We're not like the others who don't have a grip on anything. You see things happening. Education. I see Walter Parker in Grand Bahama having to move out of the facility right now.
Very unfortunate.
I've seen issues
Quite
with
alarming.
people with the various airports across the country where there's been different issues, even issues with facilities here in New Providence. They don't have a grip on these issues. At least we are coming with a plan, new ideas. This is not the same old, same old. We have been sitting, we have been talking, not just to each other, but with people in this country who are affected most at their doorstep, at their breakfast, at their food table. And we know that these plans are at least going to give us a fighting chance to survive in our own country.
Let's go to the phone lines. Talking head.
Hey, good day, Naughty.
Good afternoon.
MJ. Listen, I didn't get to name your guest today. What's the name of your guest in the studio?
Mr. Safant Rule, I gotta say that probably, Mr. Safant Rule, who is the ratified candidate for the Free National Movement for Tall Pines.
Okay, listen, boy, I'm on there. You talking plenty sense, right? I listened to the show, right? Let me tell you something. In 1992, I was going to COB. When the part took us to North Carolina from Miami, drove from Miami to North Carolina on a basketball trip, right? My first time in the U.S., right? When we arrived in North Carolina, we was going to the mall. So what I did, I got ready. I said, let's go to the bus stop. So guys were like, no, man, they were scheduled. I couldn't believe it.
That's funny.
You just used to walking out and catching jitney. I got you. I feel
right,
you.
yeah, no, they have order.
No, that's 92. It's 33 years later, man. Come on, man.
I think we should have a system in place like that when it comes to busing. I think that, you know, if it's such a hard situation for our cab drivers to make a living in the tourism industry, Uberization, my brother, open it up. Let people take care of themselves by serving Bahamians, new ideas, new innovation. It'll create new jobs. It'll create a new market, and it will definitely take a bite out of some of the traffic situations because you'll have people with reliable transportation. If they can't afford it, they'll know they have means of transportation that's going to pick them up. It's a hard situation right now.
Listen to me, right? Like every year, every 5 years of election, right? I always tell people, right? I don't need to see no MP, you know. I don't need to see no MP. I want MPs to go to the House of Parliament and make laws to cause me to thrive, right?
Yeah.
If I have a night job, you know how expensive it is to get a taxi every night?
Ooh, correct. Yeah, you're right.
Now,
that would be hard. Very hard.
When I was in the U.S., the bus run, I think until about 12, either 10 or 12, right? You get a transfer, right? Saying is the bus system should be whereas people could get off from the hotel at 12 o'clock, catch the bus home at 12. You know, you understand me?
No, we totally agree with you.
I mean, but I'm saying the government, I mean, the leaders, I mean, these things are
now,
so simple.
Are there any bus schedules in place here that you know of? Because I have a tested chairman and saying, Naughty, there's bus schedules, we don't follow them. But even if we had bus schedules, they end at 6 or 7 p.m. in the evening. That doesn't constitute any relief for shift workers in the hotel. They get off at 11, that are going to work for 11, and then getting off at 5:36 in the morning as well, too. So you have to look at all those angles.
I'm not sure if 12B has a bus, like 12B has a bus system, 12B, I'm not sure. But look at my daughter, she works, I was so proud of her today. She works at immigration, right? And I was doing the taxi run. I saw her on a raid, and she was running after somebody, right? I was almost in tears, right? But watch this, right? She goes to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
She just started working, right? I had to pick up every day to go to work. If the bus system was effective, I could be the way trying to make some more money.
Yeah, no, you're right. We do need to improve that area for sure.
I mean, let's be careful. The gentleman in the studio right now, right? I say he's half of them, right?
Yes, Mr.
I know it's only
Safant
election, but guys, let's fix the transportation industry, man.
Thank you so much.
Good call, and don't be a stranger, man.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Let's get to the other calls. Talking heads.
Yes, sir, and good evening to you. I hope your wife is there.
She's right here.
Because I want to say I love you.
Oh, wow.
Watch that now. Hold on.
Yeah.
I ain't tell you she was here for all of that.
Yeah. Is that that kind of way? You are looking out for the people. And because you're looking out for the people, that's why I love you. I mean, we are of the same heart. Listen to what I'm saying. That I heard you mention about the person who working at the 11 o'clock shift and all those things, right? And then see these people, whether they work as pump attendant, whatever job they're doing, the manager or the boss don't concern how they get there, but they got to get there.
Yeah.
Walking in rain or whatever the situation. But I stop in here to step out back, and my radio is always on Garden Radio. And when the gentleman, your last caller, mentioned about the bus, I remember I promised a colleague to talk about that. This gentleman, who is a specialist, but, you know, he was a foreign tongue, so to speak.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
He was on the bus, and he decided to take a seat right up in the front. The bus driver doesn't want him to sit up in the front. Maybe he wants to reserve that for the schoolgirls or somebody special. And he gave the guy a hard time. And when the guy spoke to him in his foreign tongue, right, he called another bus driver and told him not to pick up the guy on the next leg.
What?
But the other bus driver disobeyed.
Mm.
Now, I was on a bus on one occasion, and then they were playing lewd music.
Yeah, that
I
shouldn't
said,
be
no,
happening.
no. We
Yeah.
can't have that lewd
Right,
music.
I think-
Adults and children in this bus. They
Right.
told me to get off the bus.
No,
But fortunately, I like to exercise and like to walk. And I was already over the hill. So I politely came out the bus and walked and took the number and tried to call and see something. So we need to get that kind of thing structured. Public transportation structured, timed, and some of it need to be taken out of the private hooligans' hands.
Thank you
Good
so
stuff,
much.
caller.
Thank you so much, caller. But that happened before. Our true story. We were behind a bus in the past, and they had, you know how they have the televisions in the bus, and we saw something playing on the bus. Word with that driver because there were children on the bus, and we couldn't believe he was playing that in the bus with children. So
Well-
there definitely needs to be some reform.
Yeah, like I said earlier, standards.
Yeah.
We have to have standards in place, and we have to police it. But there are some very good bus drivers. Let me tell you,
Correct.
there's some people who know that they can trust their children, their
Just
parents.
like the jet ski industry, a lot of good jet ski operators been doing it for years, but obviously getting sullied nowadays with the alleged rogue
But
operators.
I'll say what I always say, which is that the persons in these industries also need to help police their
Yes,
industries.
correct.
Weed out the bad apples.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Talking heads.
Hey, Naughty MJ. Sorry to call back again.
Only because it's your birthday. Go ahead.
I appreciate that. Listen, something really struck me just now when you talk about buses, especially for hotel workers. Back in the day, back in 1983, when I joined the hotel industry, they always had buses to transport their employees, especially the ones that knocked off late at night. At least get them close to their destination and drop them. Sometimes the buses would drop them directly at home. Sometimes they would drop them close to where they live and transport them. Today, that part of the industry is gone. Crystal Palace used to do it back in the day. Paradise Island used to do it back in the day. And it's more like, hey, you want your employee to work, to come to work and work the late shifts, but there's no true transportation for many of them to try and get home. Yeah, they have to pay tax and everything, but if they don't have any money, then how do they get home? Mr. Roll, I think it is, your guest?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, I got one for you. And this is something that I've been talking about for quite some time. The thing about this is it goes back into the hotel sector. It goes back into some of these sectors that have these late night shifts, and you got mothers who trying to figure out babysitters and all that stuff. How have you ever considered or thought about getting the industries, especially the hotel and the new hotels that's being built today, to include a daycare center, perhaps where those mothers, you want productivity, but you can't have productivity if the mother is trying to figure out whether their child is all right because they don't have a babysitter, and so on and so forth. I wonder whether we are even progressive in this country to even put things in place to try and help to bring prosperity and productivity to the hands of Bahamian people.
All right,
Great
Jeff, I
question,
appreciate it.
Jeff.
I'm going to let
We'll let
Mr.
him-
Roll answer that.
we'll
Let me
let
get these
Mr.
other
Roll
two
answer
calls
it.
in because we pressed for time. Caller, Talking Heads, make it quick. What you got for me today?
Hello?
Good afternoon.
I know you all told me don't be a stranger, but I just wanted to call back to say this one thing. My experience. I had went to a popular fast food place to purchase some food. And you see how the traffic is bumper-to-bumper traffic around this time of the evening? That's the way it was at the fast food place. By the time I got to the window, I asked the girl, well, what's going on in there? Why is y'all taking so long to serve? She said to me that they cannot find people to work the night shift because there's no bus to get them home. And
Wow.
the only reason why she was working because her father could come and pick her up. So it's a massive challenge as it relates to the bus.
All right. Thanks, caller. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And don't be a stranger again, caller.
Let's get to the other call. Talking Heads.
Golly, they just stuck in away so long.
What's going on, Bremen?
I'm right here, thank God. What sign I have is based on Frederick Street, North Frederick Street, the bus depot, right? Around there, the space so smoky is bad for people's health. You know what I'm saying? If you crossing Frederick Street onto where Mademoiselle used to be,
Okay.
all that smoke be, just be blasting all
You
over
mean
the
the
place.
bus emissions?
I said again?
The bus emissions, the emissions from the buses lined
Yes,
off.
man. That's not healthy. It's not healthy for people that
All right.
walks in that area,
All right, Bremen, I appreciate it. We'll
Thank
make a
you
note of that and we get it out there for
so
sure.
much.
We got to wrap, but MJ, I know you got one before we wrap up.
But I just wanted to find out from Mr. Roll his thoughts on whether or not this upcoming Golden Isles by-election would represent a kind of referendum on the leadership of the Free National Movement, your party's leadership. What are your thoughts?
I don't think so. I think it's going to represent a referendum on what the people have to say about who needs to be their representative in Golden Isles. This matchup is definitely one between Brian Brown and all the other candidates. Brian Brown is such a fixture in Golden Isles that it's only a referendum for them on that particular issue, the actual candidates there. And so I can tell you one thing. Brian has the support of the Free National Movement leadership, the entire Central Council. We are behind him. We are supporting him. We are supporting the people in Golden Isles because they told us, even before an official decision was made, they told us, come to Golden Isles because we got y'all. We got the Free National Movement. We want to send a clear message to the PLP that their time is over, the time is up. We need things to be done for the Bahamian people and the people in Golden Isles.
There you go. Appreciate you, as always, so candid, and obviously we'll have to do it again.
Yeah, we have to give him a chance to say something to the good people at Tall Pines. I know that you want to
Listen.
say something to your good people at Tall Pines, right?
Listen, the team is on the street as we're here in the studio. We still have the team on the street. They're walking. We're meeting the people. We're reaching out to them. We know that they deserve the best, and we want to give them the best. We want to do what we can for the people in Tall Pines. We love you. We appreciate you. And we know when the time has come that you will indeed vote for the Free National Movement candidate, Safent Roll in Tall Pines.
There you go. Appreciate you stopping by. And like I said,
Thank you so
we'll
much.
do it again.
Thank you.
But to everybody who texted in, called in, great stuff. Good stuff as always. For MJ, for our guest, Mr. Safent Roll, and of course, Mr. Producer, we appreciate you tuning in today. You got Pearly tomorrow, and MJ and I will be back on Friday with Week in Review.
And we have a special
guest on Friday.
as well.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
So we'll definitely chop it up on Friday. So keep it right where you got it to Guardian Radio for more smart talk and fresh news all day. We'll see you right here tomorrow on Talking Heads.
The more me get stronger, more them try to fool me, then the more me get wiser. Yeah, provoke me to hunger. Well, and the more them try to kill me, and the more me live longer. More them try to stop me, then the more me reach.
Craving something bold, fresh, and unforgettable? Tropical Gyros is your flavor-packed escape, a Carib-Greek fusion born right here in Nassau. From juicy grilled salmon, chicken, and pork gyros to loaded bowls, fresh salads, wings, and more. There's something for every craving. Find Tropical Gyros at any of their locations, JFK Plaza, Rosetta Street, Port Lucaya Freeport, or their franchise spots on Prince Charles Drive, Soldier Road West, Delaport, and Carmichael Road. Tropical Gyro food, it's an experience.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances, so come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
Don't wait for a storm to arrive. Stock up on hurricane supplies, make home repairs, purchase a generator, and more this hurricane season with a Fidelity personal loan. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This time around, this time around, this time around, me girl is Brian Brown. This time around, this time around, this time around, me girl is Brian Brown. This baby, he got so much to give. Educational program, young people and the kids. You ain't gotta be no whiz. Brian handling business, all kind of things in these senior citizens. Hey!
Paid for by the Free National Movement.
What happens when your faves team up? You get an original Asiago Bacon Club. Enjoy the iconic taste of KFC's 11 herbs and spices with a bite into KFC's original recipe chicken filet layered with Asiago cheese, crisp lettuce, tomato, bacon, our signature ranch, all on a golden brioche bun. KFC's original Asiago Bacon Club is made fresh, made right, available only at KFC. It's finger-licking good.
Refined style with elegant taste, then Fine Threads is your place. If you want those slacks hemmed or just taking the waist, then Fine Threads is your place. If you want to look suave and debonair everywhere you go, like you're supposed to be in a video, want to step out and look great, then Fine Threads is your place. Refined style with elegant taste, then Fine Threads is your place, is your place.
There is a new king in town, and the only place to find him is at Burger King Nassau. Introducing the Cheesy Ring King, featuring 2 juicy flame grilled beef patties stacked with American cheese, crisp bacon, sweet barbecue sauce, honey mustard, and the crown jewel, 3 golden mozzarella rings served on a soft, buttery brioche bun. It's bigger, it's better, and it's cheesier. Want just cheese rings? They're available as a side too. Get the cheese